중국이 국제 자본시장에서 영향을 높여가면서 이 위안화의 국제화에 한 걸음씩 다가서고 있습니다. 네, 중국의 위안화는 달러, 유로, 파운드, 엔화에 이어서 세계 다섯 번째로 자주 쓰이는 지불 수단이 또 되었죠. 김영규 기자가 HSBC의 중국, 홍콩, 대만 등이 범중화권 법인 CEO를 맡고 있는 헬렌 웡 대표를 만났습니다. 중국 위안화 국제화에 따른 이슈, 또 중국 금융산업이 직면한 주요 과제, 미래, 그리고 중국 시장에 과연 투자를 해야 될지 여부 등에서 얘기를 자세히 들어봤습니다.
Helen, thank you so much for your time today. Everybody knows China market is big, important, with a big potential.
Yeah.
And the competition is very intense, not only among the domestic banks, but also foreign banks operating in China.
Indeed, yeah.
So how do you distinguish yourself from other players?
I think doing business in China, you do need a lot of commitment, meaning you have to prepare yourself well. China hasn't opened its doors 100 years back. It opened up its economy in the last 35 years. And indeed, for foreign banks entering to China, it's really very much, we become a lot more active after China enters into WTO. So, but the local banks are very big, so how do we compete with them? I don't think we compete in size, but we compete in service, and we also compete very much importantly by the international connectivity that we can offer. I think another opportunity that's been opening up in recent years is the internationalization of the Renminbi or RMB. The currency has become a trade settlement currency, has become an investment currency, and is being looked at and to an extent become a reserve currency as well. So being a universal bank, we are considered one of the best foreign banks that can handle this currency. We have an ability to handle the RMB in more than 50 markets in the world. So that's become one of the key things that we can actually serve our customers.
How do you assess so far China's move towards the internationalization of the renminbi?
Actually interesting, when you look back to history, the currency was hardly convertible, and it started maybe from Hong Kong, which is today still the largest offshore RMB hub for the currency, yeah? And indeed it started with individuals allowed in Hong Kong to buy RMB as a currency play, and then I think the broad step forward was in 2009, where China announced the use of RMB for trade settlement. So from that year to now, it is actually only a very short period that today more than 25% of China's trade is settled in RMB. So you can imagine the volume of that. China's trade is something like around close to 4 trillion US dollars equivalent, and 1/4 of that is settled in RMB. And that's actually one of the reasons why RMB has become a major payments currency in the world.
So you've been an expert in China's financial market, and what do you think are the major challenges that China's financial sector is facing right now?
Well, I think there is a lot of opportunities alongside the challenges. The challenges is China is opening up its market. And for a country as big as that, such a big economy, to open its financial markets, of course there's a lot of consideration by the government to think about how to open it, at what speed, and as it continues to open, what adjustment need to be made. So the challenges to financial institutions are, can you really read into the speed of the opening up? Are you in it, but yet can manage your risk? If there is any adjustment, will you be able to adjust alongside those adjustments that the government is going to make? So I think challenges is you have to stay really close to what's happening in the market, in the setting of the policies, and to think about big questions like what's your own liquidity situation, what does your customer want? Would you be able, in changes, be able to deal with those changes and advise your customers accordingly? So I think this is the biggest challenge. And as it opened up, as liquidity crossed the border, how do you manage cross-border risk? and how do you manage if funds need to be overseas held by your customers, will you be able to manage that for them as well?
For some time now, Chinese regulators have been saying there will be reform in China's financial market.
Yes.
Do you see the reform now?
Well, actually, it has not stopped. I think the most recent one is really the opening up of more about the bond market. Like what we call the interbank bond market in China. There are lately more policies coming out to relax it so that more overseas institutional investors can invest into this market without a quota. And also there are more freedom in terms of the flow of money, the repatriation of the profits that you make in the market. So I think this is a very obvious example of continue opening up the capital market. I think fundamentally the economy is big. It's a market that no one can ignore. I mean, it's the second largest economy in the world. It's the largest trade nations in the world. And if you are investors, you must somehow consider China. Otherwise, your portfolio will not be complete. So there is always this, and it is indeed because so many investors are looking at China, so they become concerned of the volatility. So the bright spot is, I think China is continuing to allow more ease of investment into China. So, so you can actually look at the market more closely with ease of investment, less approval, less quota management. So I think these are the opportunities presented to international investors.